For 3 days, the Westgate Mall was under siege as officers drawn from various security agencies battled to reclaim it from terrorists. But amidst the gallant efforts, there lie several questions.
There are no women, actually.
It is very clear that it's only men. Some men had dressed like women to mislead the situation.
Question 1. Who exactly were the terrorists? In the early stages of the attack, it was believed that the infamous White Widow was behind them. The authorities, however, have been reading from different scripts.
Some men had dressed like women to mislead the situation, but all the terrorists are male.
From the information that we have, 2 or 3 Americans, and I think so far I've heard of 1 Brit.
And the Brit was a British-born woman?
Woman. And she's, I think, done this many times before.
Earlier on, in our previous briefings, we indicated that there was no indication to suggest that there is a woman terrorist. But going forward, we are all hearing possibilities and information.
So, are all the terrorists dead? And if the White Widow was indeed not part of the operation, why then would Interpol issue an arrest for UK national Samantha Loswaite, quote-unquote, at the request of authorities in Kenya? Common sense suggests the request to Interpol confirms the infamous White Widow was part of the terrorist siege. Confounding the matter is whether the terrorists were members of the Al-Shabaab or Al-Qaeda, or was it an alliance of evil?
That Al-Shabaab has been working with others.
And are you talking about with other Al-Qaeda affiliates and wannabes all over the world?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Which brings us to question 2. How many terrorists were there?
Said yesterday that unconfirmed information has it that the terrorists could be between 10 and 15. We do not want to delve into the gender issue for now.
We say, if I say 10 were killed, no, we have killed 5 terrorists. And we say we have 10 of them held up for investigation with security agencies.
That is the official figure that the government gave. But the figure fails to add up. The government admits to killing only 5 of them. Although Olelenku insists the number of the bodies under the rubble are insignificant, he has nevertheless ruled out the possibility of anyone, presumably including the terrorists, still being alive. Military sources put the figure to between 25 and 30 terrorists. So, where are the rest of the terrorists? A source told Citizen Television that it was impossible for the 15 people to fit into the 2 cars that came in, and it is believed that some of the terrorists were already at the mall where they had rented a shop for more than 6 months. Question 3. What is the fate of the hostages? The government had reported that the terrorists initially held 30 hostages. However, sources tell Citizen Television that the number is higher than this. But this is what the Cabinet Secretary had to say.
Up to now, we strongly believe, because of the operations we have undertaken, that there is an insignificant number of bodies still held up.
The plot around the fate of the hostages thickens when the Red Cross figures of unaccounted for persons stands at 61 is considered. So, how many hostages were rescued and where are they now? Perhaps the immediate question Kenyans are asking each other was whether the security agencies were in the loop about the attack. So, question 4. Did the National Intelligence Service have information about the attack? Nairobi Senator Mike Sonko believes so when he said 2 women were reported to have information about the attack. Meanwhile, Parliament asked this.
And unless we do a proper audit, Mr. Speaker, then we can come up and say National Intelligence Service failed.
So we must be practical enough to say, is it about time we need a new intelligence unit, intelligence service?
Over the last few years, since terrorism became a major threat in this country, we've been receiving threats. We've been preempting several, but this was unfortunate that it happened.
Credible sources say some of the terrorists may have gained access into the country late last year, while the rest came in between January and June this year. The suspects rented houses in Westlands near the mall, some as close as a walking distance. When asked about this plan, this is what the government said.
Whether the terrorists hired a shop in the mall is a rumor we have heard just like you.
So, what other rumors will come true? And finally, question 5. How many people died, and could the missing people be part of the dead? This is the ultimate question, whether the hostages were killed by the terrorists or by the collapsing building, an issue that has also remained tricky. So where does the truth lie? 5 questions that almost sum up the mystery that is the Westgate attack. The biggest question is, will these questions ever be answered? Willis Raburu, Citizen TV, Nairobi.